Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last session of the first day of Peralta Online Equity Conference. I'm excited to introduce our presenters for this last session. We have Izzie Villanueva, Ashley Mujica, and Howie Pang, Karima Paredes from Berkeley City College, and they will be talking about basic needs are human rights, allowing students to lead changes on campus. Before we start, I would like to remind you that you can use Zoom captioning feature by using the closed caption button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And also, if you have any questions during the speech, please share your questions in the chat so that we can share your questions with the presenters at the very end of the session. And lastly, we have a YouTube channel that you can find other ongoing sessions at this time. I know you're missing them, but you can always go back to our YouTube channel to watch what you have missed, including the previous year's recordings of Peralta Online Equity Conference. I'm going to share the link in the chat, and meanwhile, I'm going to pass the microphone to our wonderful presenters.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Izzie Villanueva, and I am the inaugural Basic Needs Coordinator at Berkeley City College. We have 3 student employees with me today that will also be co-presenting alongside myself, but we'll go ahead and get started, and I'll share my screen. All right. Awesome. Let me just pull up the... Perfect. Okay. If there's ever any tech issues, if you need me to speak louder or slow down, again, also feel free to put that in the chat. But let's go ahead and get started. So the title of our presentation, I actually modified it a little bit, just a little bit. It was originally allowing students to lead changes on campus. But I had this realization, students have been leading changes, and it's not up to me to allow that or not allow that. It's always been the students to drive where a university or a college should go in the different directions. So just want to acknowledge all of the labor also that all students, but especially my student employees, have put into really shaping the program that we have here at the Berkeley City College Basic Needs Center. So just a quick overview for folks that might not be familiar. Berkeley City College is one of 4 schools within the Peralta Community College District in the Bay Area. And we have a quick timeline as to how we kind of established ourselves as a basic needs center. So before 2022, the food pantry was started through our wellness center and Alameda County Community Food Bank as well. And that is all documented and archived on a really old Instagram account. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to shut down and do a different type of distribution during that time. But in the summer of 2022, there was funding that became allocated to every single California community college, specifically for basic needs, meaning there needed to be at least one designated person on every single California community college campus whose full efforts were dedicated to basic needs. So this started with the fall of 2022. Student assistants were hired, and they really focused on CalFresh assistance and continuing a weekly food pantry. And I was brought on as the basic needs coordinator in spring 2023, where we started then providing additional services, including free meals for all students enrolled in at least one course, Clipper card transportation support, and many other services. And since then, we've really just expanded our services by my presence and the other students' presence, knowing that since fall last semester, we started having more procedures now across all 4 Peralta colleges. So ourselves at Berkeley City College, Merritt College, Laney College, and College of Alameda, where all of us now have food pantry distributions, free meals, really tackling food insecurity across all of the Peralta colleges. And now all of us are opening physical spaces at our respective campuses to then also focus on training and developing a lot of student employees and building their leadership skills with specific projects. So to go in more depth about what these projects look like and the breadth of our services that we provide, I brought my team of students. I have a team of 5, but I did bring 3 students today to kind of share some of the things that they've been working on over the span of the past year. So I'm gonna first Oh, sorry, before that, this was just a brief overview of everything I already described. So we have our food pantries, we have Clipper cards, we also give out free clothes to different students. We offer assistance with CalFresh applications, facilitate presentations, and we have our physical store. Yes, our first person who's going to start talking about the food insecurity challenges that we faced and how we've addressed those is my student assistant, Howie.
Thank you, Izzy. So, hello everybody. My name is Howie, and I serve as the CalFresh and Food Pantry Specialist at the Business Center here at BCC. So today I'm excited to take you on a journey into our mission, which is providing essential food resources to our students. As a student assistant, my team and I have been working to ensure that every student has easy access to food resources, from organizing weekly free meals to maintaining our food pantry and offering CalFresh support hours. So join me as I share not only the details of our operations, but also the skills we have developed and the challenges we have faced along the way. So next slide. Cool. So this is our weekly free food pantry. It's happening every Thursday from 12 to 3 at the atrium on our campus, where we provide over 800 pounds of fresh produce and essential food to all students. To achieve that, we collaborate with Berkeley Food Network, which is an organization specializing in providing food to those who in need here in Alameda County, specifically Berkeley and Albany. So we are able to connect to their network and directly access food resources from local wholesales like Berkeley Bowl, which is a high-end supermarket here in Berkeley. At our food pantry, we strive to provide the best quality food we can while also reducing food waste. And more than that, we offer reusable bags and ask students to bring it back next time, bringing the whole food pantry to an educational level and a green ecosystem can be achieved. So switching to the skills and difficulties, I have developed my coordination and resources management skills through the operation. I found it really critical to consistently collect the data, such as what are the most popular food and when are most of the students coming to the food pantry, so that I can analyze the demand in order to provide a sufficient supply. Furthermore, efficiency is also a key element as I directly affect the logistics. Although the food pantries start at 12, the food usually arrive at 10, and I will coordinate the division of labor with my team. Some of them will meet me in the unloading dock, and then we start loading the food from the truck, while the rest of them will stay in the center and start unpacking the food. It is really vital to maintain a high efficiency to save time, as it might take longer than expected to finish the preparation. Last but not least, it is also important to keep track of the size of the order, as different campuses have different capacities. For BCC, I always aim to only keep a few stocks of the most popular items, as we do not have a big storage. Recently, I have had my amazing intern Kay in creating a spreadsheet documenting the actual consumed quantity of every single kind of food and produce. By working on the data collection, we will be able to conduct a more detailed analysis and provide a long-term planning proposal, not only reflecting the needs for the food and also increasing the sustainability of food pantry development. So next slide. Awesome. So after the food pantry, let me introduce CalFresh support hours from Tuesday to Thursday during our opening hours. So during the supporting hours, I offer a one-on-one in-person meeting with the students who have issues with their applications. By listening to their obstacles, I address what is stopping them from finishing their application and offer the best solution. The key to nailing this task is active listening. As the contest could go to something really deep and complex, we as a helper must keep track of what is happening and try to think from the student's perspective so that we can address the core problem. Personally, I created a Google document where I will write down all the details during the conversation with the student. I believe it's a better way to make the information more organized and up to date as students they come back and forth while they're handling the issues. And on top of that, recently I have another passionate intern, Alexis, to create a really dedicated flyer about the eligibilities and a brief tutorial of the application. So we noticed many students have heard of CalFresh, but they do not know how to navigate the application. So with the new flyer, we hope it reduces the difficulty for the students to finish the application by knowing exactly what document they would need to prepare in advance and what kind of information they would need to input during the process. So that concludes my proportion, and now I will pass it to Ashley to talk more about our work.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I'm the Buddies Closet Assistant at Berkeley City College. I'm a second-year student at Berkeley City College pursuing 2 associates first transfer in economics and business. And my role as a Buddies Closet Assistant is to coordinate large-scale clothing drives once per semester. Students and faculty can donate any clothes. I also have developed a system for collecting, processing, organizing, and tracking items. Additionally, I create flyers for free clothing events at school. And the major issue that I see for students working as a basic need assistant is that people require clothing resources, access to a food pantry, and free meals. Berkeley City College offers these services, but I wish they were more widely and easily available throughout the counties. Next slide, please. And to bring the Buddies Closet project to life, I had the opportunity to work with the Basic Needs Coordinator in the summer of 2023 to turn this project into a reality. The most important part of starting this project is to brainstorm and plan the vision of Buddies Closet. Some questions I asked myself were how and when to collect clothes and how to organize and keep track of inventory. These questions played an important role because they allow me to contemplate solutions to potential problems that Buddy's Closet could encounter. After my brainstorming, I decided to use Google Sheets as a tracker to monitor the sizes of clothing for men, women, and kids. This is how my inventory tracker looks like. It's seen in the slide. And I decided to create a test run for clothing donations, which contained emailing faculty and students if they can donate clothes. In the summer of 2023, I was able to collect over 400 clothing items donated by school faculty. Next slide, please. And I coordinated another clothing drive this fall semester and spring semester, during which students and faculty could donate any clothes. And this is how the Buddies Closet looks like, located in Berkeley City College Basic Needs Center. It currently has 3 racks where shirts, sleeves, and hoodies are stored, and there are also bins that we hold socks in. To attract more students to the Basic Needs Center, we organized a grand opening and designed a flyer that was posted on social media and around campus, informing people about the new clothing resource available at the Basic Needs Center. Next slide, please. And to extend our resources to students at Berkeley City College, I decided to organize a free flea market event. And I chose to create this event because thrifting is highly popular in this generation, and I wanted to provide a fun and easy way for people to obtain clothes for free. I aim to capture the attention of my audience by organizing this flea market. During the fall and spring drive, in the fall clothing drive, I gathered over 820 pieces of clothing for the flea market event, and this spring I gathered over 300 clothing items for the flea market event. As you can see in the picture, we arranged tables featuring various sizes of clothing, each labeled according to its corresponding size. And the setup gives off the vibe similar to searching through Goodwill bins. And the data collected from this event showed that more than 80 students attended the flea market event, and we gave away over 340 pieces of clothing this fall semester and spring semester. And this demonstrates that there are students who need clothes, highlighting that it would be considered a basic need. And I also want to give a shout out to my intern, Anna. She was able to help me organize the clothes and create this flea market event. And thanks for listening. I'll be passing it now to Karime.
Hi everyone, my name's Karime Paredes. I'm a second-year psychology major at Berkeley City College, and I'm also the Basic Needs Center social media manager. In this role, my main focus is creating social media content that includes weekly posts for upcoming free lunches, as well as working with other team members to create social media posts and flyers for any upcoming events we may be hosting. This could be for our Instagram or for around campus. An issue I've seen many students face is that they lack basic needs such as clothing, food, and housing. But with this, I've also noticed students are unaware of the services available to them, although they may know of our free lunches and food pantry. Since they may see it around campus, they also may be unaware of the center and everything else we can provide for them. Next slide, please. Um, Well, there was another, okay, yeah. This is why it's important to increase our social media, which in turn will also increase the exposure our center has. By doing this, many students know what the center and our college can offer them. On the far right, I'm showing an example of one of our weekly free meals. Every week, I create new posts, which include the food we are providing, where it's from, and where this will be to inform students of the weekly free lunch for that week. Along with keeping up with our weekly free lunch posts, I've also curated recipe stories for our Instagram. In these recipes, I've tried to incorporate ingredients we provide in our food pantry. This is a way to keep students engaged while also tying in different cultures on campus and giving students resources. As a whole, when it comes to social media, it's important to factor in students' needs and meeting them where they're at. Some ways to do this is by using current trends in order to attract as many students as possible. This is shown in my collaboration with Ashley, who manages the Buddies Closet. We've collaborated to create stories that have highlights of our closet. This is titled Fashion Finds. With these stories, we are purposeful with the clothes we post. We choose outfits that we see students on campus wear in order to keep up with current trends and have as much student interaction with each story. In these posts, we are showing students what we have in our closet and hopefully sparking their interest to bring them into our center. Throughout creating social media posts, I've also been tracking if we are meeting our goal. A way I track this is by looking at our data of accounts engaged and followers. In the past year, we've more than doubled our followers. We started at around 100 followers and we're at almost 600, showing that we are meeting our goal in engaging with students and bringing them into our center. Next slide. Here I'll be showing a reel I created to show our followers the behind the scenes of what goes into our food pantry. Our goal was to engage with students, and to do this, once again, I incorporated current trends. For example, I used popular audio and sped up the video for comedic relief. Student interaction with this reel also helped us increase our views, as it increased our visibility on the algorithm. As shown, there was a couple students who commented as well. We reached over 2,000 views, which I think is a success in not only showing students the work that goes into our food pantry, but also this helped us get more followers and increase our engagement. I'll be passing it to Izzy. I think the reel wasn't working, so.
Okay. I just want to thank again my team, Karime, Ashley, and Howie for sharing. There are two other amazing student leaders who were unable to be here today. Darius is our community engagement and outreach student assistant. He's done so much work with bringing classroom presentations and really doing a lot of tabling and outreach efforts to having students know about our presence on campus. And we have Wei as well, my housing research student assistant, who created an entire directory and information hub of where students can find affordable housing and also emergency housing options. That being said, one of the goals that I put as an objective for this session was to also inform people of how can you also get such an amazing group of students to really be engaged if you are someone that's working in education or also wanting different ways to really center these student voices and build them as leaders as well. And so, for myself, when I think about this work, I think about my own past. So I think it's hard not to think about the ways that I've personally struggled with not having my basic needs met, which is what brought me to this work. I was raised by a single mom, and there was just a lot of insecurity, I think, in my early childhood. And, I think it's the common practice that we see among a lot of our students. Oftentimes they're the first to do a lot of things, the first to go to college, the first to get a job with benefits, the first to pursue X, Y, and Z, right? And I think in that case, I was wondering, what is my role then in wanting to also pave that forward and want to support others in the ways that I was supported, in ways that I didn't think that I would have these resources, but others went out of their way to support me and provide me the resources. So all of my lived experiences, the student centers I was a part of, my academic background in ethnic studies really shaped my own understanding of social justice, inequity, and basic needs. And so when I started recruiting for student employees, I really focused on three main components: recruitment, student engagement, and team building. So just to start out with recruitment, I was really specific with my job descriptions. I wanted there to be a lot of expectations that were kind of set from the beginning of what students can expect in this job. Again, I think just because something is a quote unquote on-campus job or student job, that provides so much possibilities for students to build the skills they need in order to move forward and find any other career that they want in the future. Oh, is my audio? Okay, looks like my audio's okay. Okay, so that being said, I have descriptions, I had an application as well, a detailed application timeline. I wanted to know what role were students most interested in. There's a written application with specific questions so I could see more about each student and understand a little bit about themselves and what brings them to the basic needs role. I think really specifically, I'm not the type of supervisor that will lay out steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll probably lay out steps 1 and 2 and hope that the students with their creativity and ingenuity will get to the rest of these steps. Because like I said at the beginning, these efforts for getting basic needs on California community colleges campuses didn't happen overnight. And it's really because of years of student advocacy and student work that we're able to have this funding now. And that being said, the targeted departments that I did a lot of outreach to were our learning communities, our Puente community that serves Latinx students, our Umoja community that serves Black and African American students, API Lead that serves Asian Pacific Islander students, as well as coordinators for our EOPS program, CalWorks, and DocuCenter. Again, because I was looking for team members who already had at least a foundation of social justice, knowing that there's inequity that exists with getting basic needs met, I wanted to then recognize how these students could also benefit from teaching their own communities about resources that are available. Again, I think Karime, my social media assistant, touched upon this, but I wanted to also meet students where they're at. And the best way to do that is usually because the students will have the phone in their hands. So we did a lot of social media pushing and recruitment through that avenue as well. And so after the numerous applications, interviews, I had my team set for the year. But I think it is one thing to pick a really solid team. It's another thing to build a really solid team. And so part of this role required a 2-day summer training Luckily, I have a former colleague, Linda Wan, who used to work at Evergreen Valley Trio Talent Search and now works at Oakland Promise. And again, I think building these community connections so we're able to provide students resources both on and off campus is so crucial and vital to making sure the holistic approach of basic needs is really completely met by all students. And so I think through this training, I was able to set the foundation and understanding of who is in most in need of basic needs and how do we serve our students that may feel stigma with receiving these services and or are just unaware of them completely. And so I regularly bring team trainings to my team, whether I facilitate them myself. I also encourage them to sign up for community trainings that they can take while being paid to do so. And again, like I said, these students really built, like you see them putting up the wallpaper, they built this center. We built it together. And again, these employees are, in my mind, the students are always the face of any campus. And I want them to be the face of this center as well. So that's why at every tabling event or at every presentation such as this, I always offer them the opportunity and want their voices to be heard first and foremost. And that being said, I think student-driven engagement is so vital. I think for those of us that work in the community college system, there's sometimes this weird stigma of like belittling sometimes that these students have to go through, whether they're quote unquote fresh out of high school or coming back after working for many years. There's this strange stigma that still exists in some places that community college students are not quote unquote enough. And I personally think that's inexcusable and completely not true. I think that every student, no matter what age or stage in their life, has something to contribute. And even in my team, some of them are experts in different fields that I'll never have any knowledge of. And so I let the students run the show because how can I foster future leaders if we don't let them see their potential and make the mistakes now? So we have a Google Drive that was created where students have designated folders. Each of them have ways that they can check in with one another, see what projects are going on, how can they support one another. We have a weekly team meeting that's led by the students themselves. They'll take on different roles of facilitator, timekeeper, note taker, and we're able to just plan all together as a group. We'll debrief events, plan future events, and keep everyone updated through different avenues of the Google Drive, but also we use a Discord as well for our main mode of communication. Again, I really want to emphasize that I think students should always be at the front of any type of programming at a college level, because at the end of the day, and lately this has been an interesting take, but I don't think it's that interesting. I tell when people ask me, where do you envision this center going? I always answer with wherever the students want to take it, because I wouldn't have this job if there were no students. I think anyone in higher education would not have their job if there weren't students there. And I don't know what it's like to be a student currently in 2024. And I don't know what it's going to be like to be a student next year as well. But the students that are in these positions are the ones that we should be listening to in order to make the change, because since I am willingly choosing to be in this role, it's my job to listen to the students and have them make the decisions, and for me to be a supporter and advocate in order to progress whatever it is that they need into the future. Cool. So this is just a quick review of our other services. We do a basic needs awareness week every semester. The students actually created this. They came up with the idea of, Izzie, like, let's put it all together. Let's do a bunch of events in a row. It'll bring us good publicity and we can put on all these events that we're really passionate about. So Ashley talked about the free flea market that we held on. My student assistant Wei also created a Know Your Rights housing workshop. We had the CalFresh support hours with Howie. Darius led a mental health art workshop, and then Karime made the whole flyer. So, and it was up to me as the coordinator to then make sure this was blasted out to the right places. What am I doing on the back end to order supplies, organize the events, book the rooms, reserve everything, but I'm letting them run the show again. This is what our space looks like. It's currently a lot larger than this. We've actually upgraded in many ways, and we have a lot more resources and supplies now that students can benefit from. But we are located in the basement of Berkeley City College. Students can come and shop in our center once a week and receive items such as clothes, hygiene, and food. Shout out to our storekeeper, Michael, who always volunteers his time to help us with bringing in the food pantry when it's delivered on the docks. And again, this would not happen without the efforts of so many community members at BCC really coming together to advocate for this space and making sure our students are having their basic needs met. Our Instagram is here. If anyone is interested in following along for updates, you can reach me at the bcc-basicneeds@peralta.edu email for any follow-ups later down the road. But otherwise, that's the end of our formal presentation. We'll open it up for questions and answers. Thank you all for your time.
Easy. Ashley, Howie, Karima, thank you so much. We really appreciate you sharing all this wonderful work with us. And this is a wonderful resource for students, right? Really, basic needs help. And I see that you're doing a great job utilizing this service or resource. And first of all, I would like to thank you all. And also, I would like to thank again for sharing how it's possible to collaborate with wonderful students, get their help, because they are students and they know the student side of everything, which is very important to include them in projects like this. So thank you so much for this exemplary work. So I'm just checking. Yes, please look at the chat. You will see people share their appreciations with you. But if you don't have any questions, we can finish the last session of the first day of Peralta Online Equity Conference. But we have wonderful sessions coming up tomorrow as well. So please check the schedule. And hopefully you will be able to join us tomorrow and on Wednesday as well. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining again, and hope to see you tomorrow.